guy. And then we've been sitting here, we've seen almost nothing all day long. About 10 minutes ago, Eric spotted Bruno bedded in the exact spot we saw him opening morning. So at this point, the wind is all wrong. We're up above him. As a matter of fact, the wind's blowing so hard, we're freezing to death. But we're gonna try and make a plan and see if we can get on this buck. He's the same buck that on opening morning I did pass at about 150 yards, but we've looked at him a lot and he is a big deer. If we can get on him and get him filmed, we're gonna see what we can do. We'll take it.
The actions of this big buck when jumped out of his bed by a herd of spooked deer will give you a good understanding of how he has gotten so old. Unsure of what the danger is and where it is coming from, he scans the area for well over 10 minutes before finally retreating back to his bed while the other deer move through the clearing, which would provide a clean shot for the hunters below who had originally jumped them. Contrary to what many people think, not all mule deer will stop and look over their shoulder before going over the hill. Definitely not the big ones.
So we've got this buck at about, he was at 260 standing away. So we decided to wait. He's kind of turned and maybe coming back to us. Something put him out of his bed, messed us up. So we're going to sit here for a minute and see if we can get a little bit better opportunity. Get him broadside, and I think we'll have him if I can make the shot. Bruno is bedded down again. He basically ran up the hill about 150 yards and turned around and came back about 50 yards. He's the smartest buck I think I've seen in a long time. Bedded back down, and now he's in the open looking this way, so we got to make a plan. Got him about 146 yards. We're making our final stalk. It's really tall in here, but noisy as heck. So anyway, we're gonna get about 30 or 40 more yards before we can see to shoot. I'm ready. He went down. Okay.
Down goes Bruno. The legend of Bruno is over. The legend of Kevin Orton is just beginning.
Kind of embarrassed right now. I don't know why it's got me like that, but 19 years. I want to shoot a big buck so bad. It's kind of lame, sorry. Man, I am so excited. About a 155-yard shot. Absolutely smoked him. He went down hard. He has been the absolutely toughest buck for 2 years to kill. Everybody's been on him. Everybody knows about him. I just feel fortunate that I had some good buddies who got me on him. I can't believe I'm crying, but I just can't believe it.
There he is. He's a bruiser. When we spotted Bruno this morning, he was actually bedded right here in this area. And actually, when you go through this system here, there's beds all over the place, but he was a really, really smart buck. He never would come out in the open. He got booed this morning for some reason and ran up on top, and we got some video of him then, but in general, he always stayed in these really tall, they're over our heads, you know, oak brush, and it's really, really thick in here. So as a result of that, you know, he was really concealed. He was really hard to see. Luckily this morning, my cameraman Eric just happened to be looking down here. A buck ran over towards this area and walked right up to Bruno laying there. No one had seen him all morning on the mountain. So anyway, kind of neat that this whole system in here, you can see how he was living. And actually, what's crazy about it is this isn't where he was all summer. He's actually moved to this new location, and we were lucky to find him. You can see the culmination of the hunt is finally to an end. Not just big buck down, but absolutely great big buck down. I really couldn't be happier. It's been one heck of a fun hunt, and as I said, you know, it's been 19 years that I've been applying and trying to get a tag on this mountain. When you kill a buck this big, to be honest with you, it's not a one-man effort. I never could have done this on my own. I've had some great help, some good people, good friends. Adam and Aaron Bronson have been fantastic. They're really magicians here on this mountain. And I would just tell you that you want to shoot bucks like this, you got to be patient. You gotta hunt hard, you gotta hike hard, you gotta be on the mountain early and stay late. And I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Sportsman's News Television. Well, we're taking Bruno home. Got him packed up and we're out of here. A lot of people tried to hunt this buck. A lot of people actually shot at this buck. It was like he had 9 lives. To be honest with you, kind of like he had Charlie Sheen tiger blood. What he didn't know is I have Charlie Sheen saber-tooth tiger blood. That's why I'm packing him out. When you have a hunt of a lifetime, it's important that you make sure and pick good equipment. I went on the prowl for a new muzzleloader and ended up with this CVA Acura. And I have to tell you, this is the most deadly combination gun I've ever owned in a muzzleloader. First of all, it comes with the Bagheera barrel. It's actually designed just like a shilling barrel. It's really designed to be an accurate barrel for a muzzleloader, and it is the most accurate barrel that I've ever shot out of the box. Also, probably some things that you'll see on other muzzleloaders that are good. This has the middle break, but what's really great is that this breech plug, I've never seen anything like it. I can shoot it 10 or 15 or 20 times. It comes out every time with just my fingers. I really like the cheek plate on this. Most muzzleloaders, to me, when I shoot them, I pull the trigger, they kick up into my cheek, and it just really hurts. This one does not at all. And I have to tell you, the trigger on this gun is absolutely the finest trigger I've ever pulled right out of the box. It needed no adjustment. It's the lightest trigger I've ever seen. It makes it so the accuracy is incredible. And you can't beat getting a quake sling with it. It's really awesome. So I've topped my CVA muzzleloader with the new Aimpoint Hunter red dot scope, and this is the most technologically advanced scope on the market today. It's why the military uses these scopes almost exclusively. And I have to tell you, even as kind of a novice with this kind of a scope, it was a phenomenal scope. It's a phenomenal combination. 3 big things that I really like. First of all, the adjustment is really fine-tuned and it is really responsive. Sometimes when I sit down with a new scope and I start turning that thing, I barely notice that the bullet is moving in my target. But with this, it was responsive, and I was able to actually sight it in really quickly that way. Second thing, it has the parallax adjustment. Now, the old scopes that were red dots, you actually had to make sure the dot was in the center of your picture in order for them to work. You had to be careful that was the case. With the parallax adjustment, that doesn't matter. So you can actually lay scawampus on the ground, you can be standing awkwardly, you can do whatever you want. Wherever that dot is in your scope, as long as it's on the target, it will shoot in that spot. Love that about the scope. And last of all, I really like the adjustments as far as the dot is concerned. You can make it really big inside and really small. It's got 11 different power adjustments there. I like that because the farther you get out, the smaller you need it. Because when your animal's farther away, you don't want the dot covering up the whole chest cavity. You need it fine-tuned so you can really see and make a good precise shot, and you can do that with this scope. I also like the fact that even in bright light, you can see it on the very, very smallest dot, which is hard to find a scope like that. Absolutely the finest scope I've used. In this combination, the most deadly combination of muzzleloader I've ever had.
But hey, congratulations, Kevin, on the best buck of your life. I know that was super exciting. We sure enjoyed watching it. Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Sportsman's News Television. Tune in next month. We'll have another great show for you. Sportsman's News Television is sponsored by Barnes Bullets, unleaded, unfailing, and unbeatable. Vortex Optics, the force of optics. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. And Sitka, turning clothing into gear.